Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to Monday's DCEU Daily. Welcome to all one of you watching, and that's probably me watching back my premiere. But there you go, not everyone can have 1 million views and 1 million subs, so I'm just going to have to talk to myself, aren't I? So basically, we had, ccxp World yesterday, a big fan expo. We were expecting trailers and lots of information, so I could come on here and spill it all to you today. So basically, I don't have anything to talk about. Only joking. We got a few things. Well, this was a big revelation from Mr. Scott Snyder, the legendary iconic DC Comics man. This is what he had to say. Scott Snyder reveals he was asked to help with a comic adaptation and expansion of Zack Snyder's Justice League universe, but had to turn it down due to scheduling conflicts. He was asked to help a Zack Snyder's comic book expansion. Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to have a freaking comic book. Well. How the atmosphere around the Snyderverse of the DC Extended Universe has changed. Do you remember when everybody hated Zack and what he did with the DC Extended Universe? Now, AT&T, Warner Media, the newly formed Warner Media, the new WB regime, want a comic book expansion of his Justice League universe. Isn't that something to celebrate? Isn't that fantastic? I think that's absolutely phenomenal, and it is something to celebrate. And I'll tell you what, take my money now. I can't wait to read this. Now, this is great marketing for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Jason Kilar and Ann Sarnoff are on another level. This is such good news. So we're going to do a quick little update from ccxp yesterday. So I've got a few things on my Twitter feed that I've saved. So let's have a look. Patrick Redding reveals how details about Batgirl and Red Hood for Gotham Knights. Batgirl's was Oracle years before the events of the game. Red Hood will unlock new abilities throughout the game as he learns more about his resurrection. So if you're a DC gamer, this will hopefully probably excite you. I'm not a gamer at all. I play the odd game. I've played Injustice 2. But if you're interested in all that, there's a bit of information for you there. James Gunn confirms the cut is complete for the Suicide Squad, and they are just working on finishing the visual effects and music. Hashtag ccxp World. Right. So that's exciting. This will explain why there's no trailer. Now, I know a lot of people are losing their shit because there's no trailer for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Now, we have had an awesome sizzle reel at DC Fandom, and we had a little kind of live action comic book thing of seeing all the characters, which was really awesome for Fandom. But we've been waiting for a trailer for a while. We're a little bit spoilt these days, and we do throw our toys out the pram when we don't get what we want. I'm not too disappointed. I was only expecting it because I was told to expect it by all these bloggers, right? As usual, they've got it all bloody wrong. Anyway, I can be patient, so we're probably looking at January or February for the first trailer, the first look at James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, and I'm quite happy for that. This is an exciting tease from Andy Muschietti, the director of the Flashpoint movie, starring Ezra Miller and every other DC actor who's ever been. Andy Muschietti teases The Flash will take you to a place that the DC universe hasn't gone before. Filming begins soon. Even though this film has been delayed for release at the end of 2022, I'm so very excited. This is the film I can't stop talking to my friends and family about. They all ignore me because they're not really DC fans. Why do you think I do a video? In the likelihood someone will talk to me about DC, right? But this is really exciting. The potential of this film. This film is going to have to be nearly 3 hours as far as I'm concerned, because there's a lot to fit into this film. The longer, the better. I wanted a Flashpoint movie ever since I discovered the comics. So, yeah, this is so epic and so awesome, and I'm totally behind Andy Muschietti. I hope he pulls it off for his sake and the future of the franchise, because this is a kind of DC Extended Universe, reboot as well. And as he's already said, it's not forgetting what's gone before, but he's adding. It's kind of making more potential out of it. And so, yeah, I can't wait for this film. And for him just to tease that we're going to go to a place that the DC Universe hasn't gone before, that's so very awesome. Right, we have some articles for you now. So first of all, Suicide Squad's final edit is complete. Let's see what James Gunn had to say about that. Now, this is a Screen Rant article. It's just loading up because that's how amateur we are here on the DCEU. Right, the Suicide Squad's final edit is complete. James Gunn confirms. This is by Cooper Hood. The Suicide Squad director, James Gunn, confirms the final cut of the DC movie is complete 8 months before its theatrical and HBO Max release. The Suicide Squad director, James Gunn, confirms his edit on the DC sequel is complete. Ever since it was announced that Gunn was joining the DC Extended Universe after momentarily being fired from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, there has been great anticipation to see what he'd do with the Task Force X. The first Suicide Squad was not, well, shut up, but was a huge box office hit. However, Gunn is retooling the franchise with a bigger cast filled with new familiar characters, more action, and an expected R rating. Warner Bros. And DC have kept a tight lid on the Suicide Squad so far, with the best look at the film coming from a featurette release during DC fandom. The footage mixed actual footage and behind the scenes together to tease fans with what the movie will look like. An official trailer has yet to be released, but the other promotional materials have been used to reveal some new looks at the large ensemble of DC villains. Unfortunately, the Suicide Squad is still months away from being released, but Gunn is practically done with the movie. As part of Brazil's ccxp, Gunn and the Suicide Squad cast member Alice Braga held a short virtual panel about the movie before some other cast members were brought in. Braga asked Gunn for an update on where the Suicide Squad stands in post-production. The writer-director confirmed that he has a final edit of the movie locked, so the only work that remains is finishing up visual effects, sound, and a few other minor tweaks. Gunn confirming the final cut of the Suicide Squad is complete means the movie is practically ready to be released 8 months early. The Suicide Squad is one of the only DC movies not to be delayed due to the coronavirus pandemic, which does make the long gap between completion of the edit and its release that much more impressive, even though some work still needs to be done. It should be finished months before the current August release date. It was recently announced that the Suicide Squad will have a simultaneous theatrical and HBO Max release too, just as every other Warner Bros. 2021 movie. Knowing that Gunn has a finished cut of the Suicide Squad isn't too surprising, considering he's already moved on to another DC project. He's currently gearing up for the production to begin on the Peacemaker spin-off series, starring John Cena. That will be in an HBO Max original. Gunn was originally scheduled to have a break between the Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but he decided to fill that void with Peacemaker instead. Now that he's confirmed his cut of the Suicide Squad is done, he'll be able to largely focus on Peacemaker and just check in on the movie's progress as needed. So very, very awesome. As I say, looking at a trailer probably January or February time. I know everyone is kind of bummed that we haven't got a trailer already, but patience, we want it to be the best possible because we want DC movies and content to be received in the best way possible. So looking forward to that. Now, we were shown a little clip at ccxp Worlds of Wonder Woman 84. It's basically a chase. We've seen this in the trailer, right? So, Diana and Chris Pine, aka Steve Trevor, are in this banged up old motor, and Diana runs out and she's chasing ahead, and it's a really good sequence. But that, my friends, is nothing. They're not giving too much away with this sequence because this film is really the evolution of our on-screen Wonder Woman. This is the movie she actually becomes Wonder Woman. Even though she puts on the costume and she's a hero, epic hero, in the first Wonder Woman 2017, this is the movie she embraces who she is. And it's so exciting. And what you get from this sequence, and of course I've seen it in the actual movie, is it's that empowerment of her actually becoming Wonder Woman and embracing her power and how powerful she actually is. There was also a little 59 one-minute trailer. It's nothing we haven't seen before, but basically they slowed it down with some emotional music. And so that was really good, but nothing we haven't seen before, unfortunately. But they did give us an exclusive clip, which was really good. And here is an article from Screen Rant by a lady, let's say, called Anna, because I'm not going to kill her surname. Wonder Woman 1984 director calls bringing Cheetah to life harrowing. Let's read this. Wonder Woman 1984 director Patty Jenkins explains bringing Cheetah to life was harrowing, knowing they had to nail her look for the villain to work. Director Patty Jenkins recalls the difficulty of bringing Kristen Wiig's Cheetah to life in Wonder Woman 1984. Barbara Ann Minerva is one of the two new adversaries for Diana Prince in the upcoming Warner Bros. DC film sequel, the other one being businessman Maxwell Lord, played by Pedro Pascal. Originally slated to release in November 2019, the movie has been delayed a few times for several reasons, including the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Wonder Woman 1984 is set to roll out simultaneously in open theatres and on HBO Max this Christmas. Admittedly, not everyone is a fan of this split release schedule. I am, and most people are. Fans are. You journalists are, but we don't care what you think. But for those who have been waiting a long time for the sequel to roll out, it's deemed a win. It's a win, my friend. It's a win, whatever you say. That includes Jenkins and the whole cast of the movie, who are proud of what they were able to achieve in the sequel. As Wonder Woman 1984 nears its release, press events for the film are also in full swing. Speaking with Comic Book, Jenkins recalls how difficult it was to bring Cheetah to life in the new film, admitting that she was worried about it from the moment they started preparing for the film until they watched her on screen. Despite the pressure, Jenkins says that she was just set on using Minerva in the movie. Executing Cheetah was harrowing, I've got to tell you. I knew that I wanted Cheetah to be in it, but from day one I was like, whoa, this is got to be right, you know. I was so scared about not getting it to look right, and it took every second from the moment we started prep to the moment we watch the picture to get it there. Like every single second was so hard to do. Marketing for Wonder Woman 1984 didn't straightforwardly reveal Wiig's Cheetah look for the movie. Instead, they mainly featured her as Barbara in the trailers and TV spots. But presumably due to the extended promotional period, they eventually had to unveil her look. That and the numerous leaks on her character design through tie-in merchandise. While the fully transformed Cheetah has been revealed already, it's still difficult to see the finer details of her appearance, that's true, as there's no official still of her as the villain. That said, from what's been shown thus far, she looks good, which is a difficult task to accomplish. Jenkins didn't dwell on why she really wanted Cheetah for Wonder Woman 1984, but it's safe to say that it has something to do with her dynamic with Diana. And the film's overall story, as confirmed by the trailers, Minerva starts off as a friend to the Themysciran princess. Eventually, there's a falling out, and Barbara gets fed up with Wonder Woman. It's unclear what caused this turn of events, but considering her supposed link to Lord, chances are that it has something to do with him. Jenkins previously said the sequel's narrative needed both villains to work, which means their respective arcs are connected. In any case, the public won't have to wait that long to find out, with the blockbuster coming out in a couple of weeks. Right, two things covered in this article. First of all, it had to be Cheetah. Cheetah is the most synonymous, recognizable villain for Wonder Woman in the comics and animation as well, right? It had to be Cheetah. They could have done other Wonder Woman villains who are not that recognizable. Look, you could do anyone if you do them well. But Cheetah, in terms of marketing, is the best thing because everybody knows who she is. And every Wonder Woman fan, every DC fan was so pumped to hear that Cheetah's in this movie. I can tell you that Cheetah looks fucking stunning. And of course, it's VFX and it's computer-generated CGI, of course. But she looks stunning. And the battles between her and Wonder Woman are absolutely epic. You are going to love what you see in terms of how we go from Barbara and Diana being friends to enemies, well, you're going to have to see the film. But there's a lot in this about jealousy, because the friendship starts from Barbara, hero worshipping Diana. This is a tall, beautiful, stunning lady, kind. She oozes kindness and compassion. And Barbara hasn't had a lot of that in her life, so she gravitates to that. So I'm not going to spoil anything else, but that's how it starts. But any relationship that starts on a format like that is doomed to fail. When you hero worship a friend, it's only going to end in tears, because you want to be like her. And you can never be like Diana. You can never be like Wonder Woman. All you can do is be the best version of yourself. Example, I'm an unsuccessful YouTuber, but I happen to be developing the first English-speaking dramas on Cypriot TV. So a little bit successful here in Cyprus, but on the YouTube circuit, no one's heard of me. I get very few views, right? We can only be the best version of ourselves. I can't force people to want to watch these videos, but I can be the best version of myself. Instead of trying to be, a Chris Von Svensson or somebody else successful, I can just be me. And if that works out for me, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't really matter, because I'm still breathing for now. And at the end of the day, all I want to do is share my love and passion for these DC movies, TV shows, and comic books. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at MoviesTVMad, and you can tag me. Don't direct message me, tag me, and suggest any videos for me to do, read out any articles you want me to do, and I'll answer your questions, just like Scott Edwards has done yet again. At MoviesTVMad, for tomorrow's DCEU Daily, I really like the bond between Tyler Hoechlin's Superman and Melissa Benoist's Supergirl in the Arrowverse, and I also love that they are both founding members of the Justice League in that universe. What about you? Did you know, Scott, that Christopher Reeve was supposed to be in Helen Slater's Supergirl film, the 1984 Supergirl film, which many of you modern people hate and call a flop and call embarrassing? That film is part of my heart. I love the Supergirl movie, yeah. Christopher Reeve was slated to be in this movie. When she arrived from Argo, he was going to meet her as Superman. But Chris decided he didn't want to be part of this film. He didn't like where it was going. Lots of terrible rumours about Superman and Supergirl having a romance. Oh my God, go and check out Minty Comics. I'm not affiliated to Minty, but his YouTube channel is amazing. But anyway, so the reason I tell you that, Scott, is because one of the dreams I've always had is for Supergirl and Superman to share screen time. So I do like the bond between them. My issue is they wasted time in season 1 with the computer chatting on Supergirl. It would have been great if they shared the screen from the first season. But they did. When we first met Tyler's Superman, I was so incredibly pumped, especially as a Superman fan. The way he conveys himself. He's a very traditional comic book Superman, very polite, well-mannered, pure-hearted. Tyler is really good at playing the pure Superman. And it's great to see them together, and it's a beautiful thing that they are the founding members of this Justice League, because Supergirl should always be part of the Justice League. And I hope that happens in whatever they do in the DC Extended Universe, because now Flashpoint is going to reboot the DC Extended Universe. The potential is limitless, including having Mel Benoist's Supergirl involved in the DC Extended Universe, Central Universe. You can use these people now. So anything's possible with this multiverse strategy. So, yeah, absolutely, I want to see Supergirl and Superman together. It should be done properly. There should be a loving, close bond between them. They shouldn't be competitive. Supergirl shouldn't resent Superman like she did in the first series of Supergirl just because he's a man, right? These people are just, But anyway, that was brilliant. And, yeah, that's that, Scott. And I hope I answered that for you. But Supergirl and Superman being on screen together, being the founding members of the Justice League, oh, my God, it's a beautiful thing. And finally today, some thoughts about our fandoms before I, leave you for today and sign off from today's DCEU Daily. And I don't think it's going to go down well with some of you, but it has to be said because I see it a lot on my feed. When Zack Snyder was betrayed by the old regime of Warner Brothers, I understand the hate for, the continuation of the rest of the DCEU, like Justice League, seeing that was the big betrayal of Zack. I can understand your hatred for Shazam, even though I don't agree with your hatred for Shazam. I think Shazam's a wonderful movie, a family movie. And I love Aquaman, and it's interesting that most of you like Aquaman. And that's an interesting thing as well, probably because Jason was part of the Snyderverse. But yeah, and then we got all the Mickey taking out of the Birds of Prey fighting and things like that. And recently we had certain fans trying to mock Wonder Woman 84, how Diana, aka Gal Gadot's running in the movie. They kind of put it to a certain angle to make it look bad. They're trying to destabilise the central element of the DCEU. Not that they've got a chance. This is just a few people. They've got no chance. So I understood some of you people doing that when you felt betrayed and you were pushing for the Snyder Cut to be released. But I don't understand that narrative now. We're about to enter a multiverse strategy, which means there's a place for everyone. All visions, all characters, to cater for all DC fans' tastes. Why the hate? I don't get it. Why the hate? You don't care. Basically, right, people were triggered again because critics reacted to Wonder Woman 84 saying it's a fun family movie, right? Inspiring movie, something that we need this year. But don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. Wonder Woman 1984 is a fun family movie, but it's also dark in places. It's very brutal and heartbreaking in places. And there's a lot of surprises for everyone. This film caters to everyone's tastes. It is not just a light, fun, funny, bubbly movie. There's a lot going on in this movie. This is your Empire Strikes Back for Wonder Woman. So be ready, be prepared, and don't prejudge movies before you've seen them. But as I say, this thing, let me just finish off with saying this. I heard someone say yesterday on my Twitter feed, we don't want these sandwich filler, happy clappy movies. We just want the Snyderverse. Do you really mean that? Because if you do, aren't you betraying and contradicting everything we were fighting against in the first place? Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.